Cut out my big long pause there where my mind went blank.
You couldn't
I was trying to make some sort of joke about like a hammer or something.
See my favourite thing about it though, you went like that. You tried a couple of times. You went see like that Frankie McAvenny sort of. You will try to be cheeky.
Get her nailed.
My that took too long. Alfred Hitchcock, one of the masters, if not the master. I mean, what is there left to say about this? This looks incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's going to be a hard podcast to talk about because, like, I assume that people have loved this movie and there's not much to say apart from us just praising it.
A Phoenix secretary embezzles $40,000 from her employer's client, goes on the run and checks into a remote motel run by a young man under the domination of his mother.
I got it on VHS. I remember just rewinding, watching again, loving it. Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, so I got this. I've got this on DVD, and you know, it's one of those ones that I hadn't seen it before, but everybody always went on about it. And then I was in HMV one day, and it was like just one of those DVDs that were like £3, because it had like no extras and stuff. It was just the film, and being like blown away by it. Then
it's a solid franchise, kinda. This is not my favourite in the franchise, which is insane. I know. Insane. Part 2 is my favourite. Part 2 is incredible. Part 3 is okay. Part 4 is decent. It's a TV movie. And they're really great. I just get the box set, but I just got the box set bumped.
I tell that story quickly.
I ordered it directly from the Arrow site and it went to a different address.
Is it your old address it went to?
Yeah, but a different, so not the...
It's not your old house, like your old neighbour's house?
Yeah, and okay. They get the same number. And I went and I sort of staked this place out a while because they weren't answering. I really wanted that box set.
So you just sat outside their house?
The second time I went,
like Norman Bates.
And I approached and asked him, and he went, no, not in here. And they had this really cute dog. And he said, that's definitely my front door, but I've not had it, no. She says, but if they left it here outside the door, what can you do? And I thought,
He's bumped that.
Oh, a billion.
That's in his house.
He's 4 films deep.
He's currently watching the prequel right now as we speak.
Mrs. Bates is alive in his world now. It's gutting. So we get this dramatic slow pan over the skyline of Phoenix, Arizona.
Before we do that, man, just these opening credits, the score, the names just coming at you from the side of the screen. It's amazing.
He is the master of aesthetics.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the slow reveal or the performances. The aesthetics are incredible in these films. And the pace.
Yes. This film moves slow at the start, but it's so tense and deliberate.
It's really exciting, man.
Yeah. It's slow in a way because, like, we're not even at the hotel yet, but you're pure into what's happening. You're into her journey. You're in her head, and the way it's filmed. Well, I guess we'll get to it. But when she's in the car and you can hear other conversations happening, for her POV, it's
A film I totally adore is From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
And the movie that is rarely mentioned when people describe From Dusk Till Dawn is Psycho.
Uh-huh.
It is No Country for Old Men. It's that when the gears shift in this, and it's no longer a film noir, but you're in horror town.
Yep.
It's just beyond words.
It's
And
amazing.
you don't expect it. You are Marion Crane at that point. Oh, this film is just incredible.
Yeah.
You talked about the titles on the screen, and I just went off on
No,
one,
no,
but
but this is it's a movie that you need to talk about like that though, because it's so fucking good.
yeah, it's film noir meets total terror. This dramatic slow pan over the skyline of Phoenix, Arizona, with some text telling you where you are and the time and date. It's Friday, late afternoon. The camera pans down to a window, and then you're peeking through it. We get immediate voyeurism. This is Hitchcock's sort of shenanigans. This is what he likes.
I don't know why it is like.
The camera appears to go through the window. It looks amazing. We get the first shot of Marion Crane. This is Janet Leigh. She is looking totally beautiful. She's in her underwear, her bra.
A lot in this movie.
Yeah, totally. And again, 1960 and still more sexual than a Marvel movie.
Oh, 100%.
We get this big beefcake standing next to her.
Oh, Big Sam. He's a big handsome guy. Isn't
Oh, Big Sam.
He's got a big handsome jawline.
Oh, he does, man.
Aye.
He'd be a big Desperate Dan type.
Yes, that's a good analogy. He's got one of those sort of broad chests.
Oh, a James Caan, you called it.
James Caan.
A Jimmy Caan.
Well, he's not really in shape, but like when he's got a suit on, he looks quite big.
He just sucks it in here.
Aye.
Early 60s, this is kinda... Do you know what I mean?
Kind of shocking,
Yeah.
I suppose. Like people having... I thought it was an affair at first, but it's not. He's divorced.
It's just more of a sort of... He is still paying alimony,
Yeah, to his ex-wife.
so it's still a shameful sort of taboo.
And she... I mean, this is going to sound stupid, but she's of a certain age and she's not married yet, which I suppose a lot of people would be looking down on for some reason. And they're sneaking away to hotels to have sex instead of going to the house because she lives with her sister. I guess she can't take him home, so they need to sneak around in hotels, so it's still kind of wrong, in quotation marks.
Marion doesn't want to do the secretive sex thing anymore. Sam says he'd be willing to see her even without the sex.
Would you? Oh, you wouldn't. Obviously he's going to say that. But we know Sam.
Sam says he can't marry her because he's in debt, and this is because of the alimony. Marion wants him to marry her, but there's not enough money, so Marion needs money. That's kind of what we figure out.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't necessarily need money.
They need money.
Yeah, they, if they want to be a couple and live together, need money. Because they can't buy a place, I guess, if he's in debt. And he's kind of ashamed he doesn't want her to live with him. She suggests and says, we're not living in a one-bedroom behind a hardware store or something, he says.
Yeah.
Which I think that'd be a problem. But again, back then you have to get the house with a picket fence and all that, didn't you? Like to start a family and
Look at the Perrys just live behind that hardware store and have a good time.
I just fucking
Enjoy each other.
cut out my big long pause there where my mind went blank.
You couldn't
I was trying to make some sort of joke about like a hammer or something.
See my favourite thing about it though, you went like that. you tried a couple of times. You went see like that Frankie McAvenny sort of. You will try to be cheeky.
Get her nailed.
That took too long. Did you see this cowboy outside Marion's office?
Oh, that's cowboy.
That's Hitchcock.
Is it?
Aye. He'd have been the worst cowboy ever.
Good evening. I would like a tequila, please.
Marion comes into the real estate office where she works as a secretary. She talks to Caroline, who's played by Alfred Hitchcock's daughter.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
She's really good in this.
Yeah.
She's not in it a lot, but I think she's really funny.
Yeah.
She's got the funniest line in the movie, which is some guy comes in asking about her. He must not have seen me, she says.
Yeah. They go back and forth. The boss isn't back yet. Marion says she has a headache. Caroline reports that Marion's sister called and is in Tucson on business. This sister is Lila.
Yes.
Who will show up later.
Yeah, definitely. But I like that Caroline offers her tranquilizers. When she's got a headache, she's like, have you got any medication or any aspirin? She's like, no, it's fine. She's like, I've got these tranquilizers.
I mean...
I thought that was going to come into play later. I thought maybe she was going to take them, and then, I don't know, she'd pass out, and then, I don't know. Just weird that she's just like, here's some tranks.
Marion's boss, Lowry, and a client, Cassidy, come in from a late lunch. Cassidy's a wee bit tipsy here.
And a bit fucking creepy as well. He sits on the table, gets right in her face, and he's got the big cowboy hat on, he's flashing the money, trying to show off.
Pure Les Dennis coupon.
He does look a bit Les Dennis about him.
Cassidy's daughter's getting married. He's buying her a big old house with 40k. 40k! Today's money would be about 400k.
Really? Did you work that out?
Is that right, roughly? He tells Marion all about it, even though she doesn't care.
Aye, she's just like, get out my face, you keep with a cowboy hat.
He's trying to be flirtatious. Lowry's worried about having all that money out. He tells Marion to take it and put it in a safe deposit.
Just for context, you are very close. 40k in 1960 was worth $414,900.
That's how much he took. No wonder.
Nearly $500,000.
Yikes.
Fucking hell. Right, I would have stole that as well.
I was rooting for Marion a bit, were you?
Oh, aye. This guy didn't deserve that money with his big cowboy hat and his big stupid breath. You know, his breath was stinking when he was right in her face. It's pure alcohol, smoking breath.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Pepper Army.
Aye.
Hey.
I bet it was like jerky. He's eating his jerky.
Oh, but it's homemade.
Aye, so he just strips a cow and just starts eating it.
He doesn't prep it in any way.
Cow's still alive. He just slices my half it.
Too much.
Like doner meat.
He tells Marion to take it and put it in a safety deposit box at the bank. Marion comes in and asks if she can take off work after depositing the money. Her boss says sure, and out she goes. Marion's at home. The camera pans to the envelope with the money sitting on her bed. The envelope with the money should not be there.
She's not took it to the safety deposit box.
What she done at this point, I'm thinking, is she a psycho? Is she a psycho for this money?
What are you?
Aye.
No, like, at this point, it's really good acting here as well because it shows you the money on the bed and it shows you her getting ready. But she's also kind of looking at it like clearly, like wordlessly acting here, like that she's nervous because she's kind of like, you can see her packing a suitcase, but she also looks a bit apprehensive about it. As you would if you stole £400,000.
Janet Leigh is incredible.
She's really good, man. She's excellent in this.
The music swells ominously because, yes, Marion...
It's tension. The score's amazing.
Marion knows she's doing something wrong, but she sees an opportunity.
Yeah, and she's doing it for love in the end. Like, she wants to be with this guy, Sam, and she's taking it to him so they can start life together, basically.
She looks nervous, but she puts the money in her purse and she heads out.
Then we see her driving. In the next scene, she's driving, I assume to see Sam. She never, at this point, she hasn't revealed where she's going.
This whole scene is incredible.
So good, man. It's so simple. So she's driving, she stopped at a red light, and just like that, her boss walks in front of her, like crossing the road, and he glances at her and gives her the wee wave, and then realises who it is, and she looks so nervous.
Yeah.
Even though she's not done anything wrong, or that he knows of, he's just like, oh, that's thing they're driving. But she's also said to him that she had a headache, she wanted to go home. Now he's seen her driving away, wearing new clothes and stuff, as if she's going out.
Yeah.
So like that's where the first mistake happens. She's driving, the music swells, she's getting all nervous. We see her falling asleep at the wheel, implying that she's been driving for hours and hours. And then she wakes up next day. Well, she doesn't wake up. She's sleeping on the side of the road next day, and a cop wakes her up.
This is tense.
This is. I don't remember any of this. I remember the movie, like for a scene, but I totally forgot about this whole cop bit.
Initially, this cop's like this ghostly figure who's just pursuing her, sort of.
And if you're watching the movie at this point, like in the cinema at the time, and you hadn't seen it before, you're maybe thinking, is this guy the psycho? Like the cop, because he's quite creepy and he follows her at some point, and you're just like, oh man, is she going to be pursued by some cop? Kind of like that Steven Spielberg movie about the trucker.
Joe.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's the same as that, but like, again, I don't know how this was marketed when it came out, but like, do you know what it's about?
The trailer is a 6-minute
Is it?
walkthrough of the set with Alfred Hitchcock telling you're in for suspense, thrill, sexiness. It's incredible, but you could mark it like that back then.
Yeah, that's true.
Almost nothing about the story.
Yeah, okay.
The highway patrol guy is intimidating. Does he take his glasses off?
He doesn't take his glasses off. You don't see his eyes, which adds to the tension because it's like you don't know. Maybe that would make him look kinder or something, but he's just staring a hole through her with these shades on.
Marion wakes up and she looks startled. She turns on the ignition and looks totally guilty.
She is terrible here. Not the acting, but like, she could not act more shady in front of this guy. Like, he's basically just like, what, you doing sleeping on the side of the road? And she's like, why, I'm under arrest, can I go? Pure white privilege also, by the way. Do you know what I mean? Like, this pretty blonde white woman thinking she can just be like, I'm off to this cop. She's pure cheeky at this cop who's just asking her like what you're doing, and she's like, if I'm not under arrest, I'm going to go.
He would definitely check her breath.
Oh man, breathalyzer, get out the car, please. Like, did you have a couple of sherries last night? Hen?
It would have been Sherry's.
Yeah, totally. Do you know what I mean? But
the trooper insists on talking to her. She says she got tired and pulled over to close her eyes. The trooper immediately looks at her thinking, what's going on here? Something's not right here. But he doesn't know what. He asks to see her licence, which makes her even more sort of nervous, suspicious. Then
she doesn't even say yes right away. She's like, why? It's like, if a cop asks you to see your licence, just say aye.
The trooper doesn't find anything wrong and lets her go. The strings...
Also, but as she's... The reason she doesn't want to show her licence is because it's in her purse with all the money.
Yeah.
So we see her like turning her whole body to like carefully open her purse so she doesn't reveal the envelope full of cash.
Yeah.
So that's why she's so jumpy about it.
That's a whopping envelope, isn't it?
It's a big thick number.
The strings start again and sound amazing. The police car follows Marion, and this whole scene is so tense.
Yeah, and she's like looking in her rear view mirror. You can see the cop behind her is looking at this exit beside her. And I don't know if she's thinking like, should I go this exit? Should I try and lose him? As you say, the score ramps up, and it's like a very slow chase scene here.
It is, but it is tense.
Yeah, totally. But it's not even a chase scene because the cop pulls off into an exit.
It's because you know she's trying to lawfully evade him the best way she can, so it has to apply the speed limit, and it's so great. The police car pulls onto the side road. She drives into a town. We see a used car lot. She buys a paper to see if the theft has been mentioned, but it hasn't. Whilst looking at the paper, the trooper pulls up nearby and sees her. He parks across the street. Creepy.
This is creepy. He gets out his car and just leans against his car and stares at her. She doesn't know this at first, like she's reading her paper, and she's talking to the car salesman, then she looks up and sees that this trooper's just staring daggers through her, and she gets all nervous and jumpy. Again, she's acting terrible here. Like,
do you see this used car salesman?
Oh man, I love this guy. He's so good in this film.
Greasy Gordon.
Aye, he comes out. He's a hot single woman on her own.
I was like, is this a psycho?
Aye, that guy is a psycho, isn't he? This guy's actually pure super nice.
I think she probably got a good deal as well. He seems like an alright guy.
Aye, don't you totally rip her off? Aye, because he's like, what is it he gives her? He gives her the salesman part at the start. He's like, oh, it's a nice day out here. We don't have out here too long. Do you know what I mean? Let's go into the office and stuff.
Let's see what I can put you in a day.
And he says something to her like, oh, you're my first customer of the day, and that's usually the hardest one or something like that. You're not going to give me any bother, are you? And she's pure, no, why would I give you bother? She's pure freaking out. I don't know why I made that English.
She's pure para.
She's para as fuck. As you would be if you had £400,000 of stolen money for your boss in your car.
She's in a hurry, man.
She is in a big hurry, and she's just like, can you take my car and I'll take a new one? And he's just like, are you sure? Like, do you want to take a test drive or something? And she's like, she is in a hurry. She's like, not just anyone will do.
She wants out of there. She sees a policeman. Yeah, it makes her worry like heck. She wants a car instantly without a test drive or any time at all to think about it.
And even the salesman's like, like he sort of drops the salesman act. He's like, "Are you alright? Like, are you sure? Like, you don't want to take it out for a drive?"
He basically says something like, "This is the first time a salesman's ever been pressured by the client."
Yeah, that was a good line. Yeah,
They make the deal, then the police officer drives into the lot. She sees him and gets in the new car. She almost forgets her suitcase. The police guy and the salesman just look at her as she drives away.
she could not have acted more suspicious.
As Marion drives, we hear these narratives in our head.
Now, I need to ask you this because I'm not sure. Is this her imagination of how she thinks people are reacting, or is this people reacting in real time?
I've always seen it as Marion's suspicions and paranoia.
That's what I thought because we're seeing her on screen, but at the same time, it's conversations between her boss and Caroline, the receptionist friend, and her boss and the cowboy guy with the money.
It is very much, it's very likely that's the conversations that would have happened.
Yeah. But all this is going on, as you said, as she's driving. The camera's just a steady shot on her driving, and she's freaking out a wee bit. And she starts smiling. Did you notice this?
Yeah.
She smiles a wee bit as if I've got away with this.
Yeah.
Maybe because she's got the new car now. She's now in California. She's made out of Arizona. Everybody's maybe starting to realise what's happened now, but she's already halfway across the country. So is she smiling because like she's done it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very subtle, which I appreciate. I don't like movies that like hold your hand through this sort of stuff and tell you.
I think she likes the thought of putting one over on Cassidy.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, but again, it doesn't tell you. But it's just a wee smile. It's not like she's like cackling like a villain, but she just seems happy with herself.
She recalls at one point Cassidy talking about tracking her down.
It says something like, I'll replace that 40 grand with her soft skin.
With her, I'll take any lost money out of her fine soft flesh."
What does that mean?
Yeah,
It's going to rip her to bits.
Rip her to bits. Yeah, this is someone
a
not
very violent way to word that, isn't it?
to be trifled with. It's a scary movie.
Mm-hmm.
She has driven all day.
Yeah.
Into the night. This is late at night. It starts to rain and Marion is having trouble seeing the road.
Man, this is shot so well because even in black and white, you can see that she can't see, if that makes any sense. Like, 'cause the camera shows you from her point of view in the driver's seat through the window. You can see all the lights, the headlights coming towards her on the other side of the road, and like, you can't see shit, man. Like, if that was me, I would pull over.
The black and white imagery adds to how shocking it all is, though. It feels pre-code, and it feels... Yeah, it's a shocking little film.
Yeah, and I'm stressed out at this point. Let's see, watching her driving in this rain, I'm like, my heart's going to be a bit because I'm picturing like me trying to drive in this rain, and I hate that.
And this has been parodied to death. There has been multiple. I mean, the series has come out as well. When we see the sign Bates Motel,
Yeah,
cold water stilled in the spine.
yeah,
This set is stunning.
incredible. So simple, but so amazing.
Incredible. I liked the series quite a bit.
Didn't see it.
Freddie Highmore, Vera Farmiga. I quite liked that series.
I
Quite
heard
a bit.
it was good. I've heard nothing but good things, especially with the first season. But I just never got round to watching it.
She gets out of the car and goes into the office, but there's no one there. She looks up at this ominous hotel that's in the background.
This is how you do a haunted house. The thing is, the house isn't haunted, but it looks like, just looking at this thing overlooking the hotel and stuff, I'm like, I'm not going in there.
It's like the door in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know nothing good goes on there. It's overlooking this little... it's like a little motel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a classic motel, like the rooms all in an adjoining line, and an L shape. Like any motel you see in like a seedy movie where like they take a prostitute to, or there's a drug deal happening in. It's very much like the Motel Inn, you mentioned it earlier, No Country for Old Men.
Oh, this place is false.
Spotless.
The Bates Motel, you might get stabbed. It's immaculate.
Yep, and he changes the sheets every week, even when nobody's staying in the rooms.
TripAdvisor. 4 stars. You might get plugged, but the place is lovely.
You could eat your dinner off the floor.
Don't make your more jokes.
Oh no, keep them to yourself. Don't mention Moz, don't say you've got a Mo. Just keep the conversation light and you'll not get stabbed.
Avoid anything to do with taxidermy.
Aye, just come in, can I get a room please, and stay in your room.
Don't shower in here.
Aye, don't shower in room number 1.
Oh, there wasn't a tub at all, was it? There was a tub.
It was a tub and shower, it was like a walk-in shower.
Do you think he'd have just left Jolene if she went for a bath? Do you think he thinks bath people are...
I don't think it was the shower that triggered it.
Do you think it might
It's
be?
not like she's turned that shower on.
I think...
No, I think he'd made up his mind before that. It's not like
he's alright with bath people.
It's not like he's looking through the hole, and it's like if she fills a bath, I'll leave her alone. But if she turns on that fucking shower, she's getting stabbed. As I said to you before we started recording, if I had like a time machine, I could go back and see this, like wipe my memory of this movie, so I'd never seen it before, and go and see it in a packed cinema house, like the opening night. Seeing the reactions of everybody, people must have been going mental.
Would you have went to your 1960s work on Monday and been like, hey
Guess what I
boys,
seen last night?
it was a real gas?
Am I a greaser in this? I take my comb out, my oil, and start slicking my hair back. Hey fellas, I seen that there new Hitchcock movie last night.
You still stay in here though, so I don't know why you're
talking about that. Alright. Oh, so I go to the, what is it, 60s? I go to the shipyards in Govan. Alright, boys, watched that. I went to pictures the other night and seen that Hitchcock film, Psycho. Yeah, man, fucking mental, so it was. Yeah, fucking, next time a missus in the shower, might give her one of them, know what I'm saying, eh? And they're like, no, we've not seen it yet, I don't know, don't get the reference.
Can somebody phone HR?
Fuck's HR.
He just said some really inappropriate stuff. Do you know, you'd have heard a voice put on you. Ryan! It's me, Billy Connolly.
Hello! It's Billy Connolly here. Why give me your full name, Billy? I know you.
You're saying it was his mom? I can't do it. I'm not
You're Billy Connolly.
going to try.
Do you like my wellies?
The big bananas.
A big banana for you. Well, you're not doing that yet, Billy. 10 years before you start that bit.
I time travelled here. You said you worked here. You just see me walking about in the big banana boots.
It's just annoying cunts. Want to hear a joke? No, Billy, I'm trying to work, man.
There's work today.
Try to build the fucking boat. I've got a wee song. Do you want me to play my banjo? Fuck off!
Take your banjo and fuck off.
Where's HR? Where's HR?
I've got a song about that. Did you see Pause Me, Billy Connolly?
No.
He voices
But he's
a
a
dog.
dog guy. Didn't see it though.
I went to the cinema to see it.
Of course you did. You cunt. You and the rest of the cunts in that cinema hall getting that movie money.
Marion gets out of the car, goes into the office, but no one is there. She looks up at this ominous hotel, and there's someone in the upper window. She honks her horn to try to get someone to come out and check her in, and this little nerdy, gangly guy comes out with an umbrella, and this is Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates.
Would it be too strong a statement to say maybe the best performance, I feel like, any villain in a horror movie?
It's the conviction in it. He's absolutely fantastic in how
amazing.
Serious he takes it.
Yep.
And you never know how menacing he could be the whole time.
Yeah, because he's so super charming at the start.
And innocent.
Yeah.
He really promises innocence.
Absolutely. He's an attractive young guy.
Articulate, polite.
Yep, seems really nice. And it's not until they're sitting in the parlour later that you start seeing the craziness. I mean, when she mentions the maybe you should put your mother somewhere. Well, I'm skipping ahead. We'll get to it, but like, just such a without this performance, this movie doesn't work.
Marion signs in under an alias, Mary Samuels.
Is that what it is? I couldn't see this because I couldn't read it joined up.
Big Mary Samuels, and says she's from Los Angeles. Norman reaches for a room key, and after a second of hesitation, he picks room 1.
That got me as well. I wrote that down, that he hesitates. Do you think that's him right there as soon as he picks that first key, deciding that he's going to kill her?
I think he's deciding what angle he wants to see.
Okay. Does he want a shower or a bath angle?
Bush or boobies?
Bush or boobies? It's like a PG way of saying it.
Marion saying, that hesitation is a big deal.
Yeah.
There's a reason you mention it.
Mm-hmm.
Marion says she's hungry. Norman tells her that there's a diner 10 miles away. He also says that she's pretty near, is it Fairville?
Fairville, yep.
Fairville, which is where Sam lives and where she's heading. Norman gets her bags, takes her into the cabin. He shows her where everything is, but he's embarrassed about showing her the bathroom. She admits she's not going to go to that diner, so Norman invites her to eat with him at the house. Marion says she would like to.
Sandwiches and milk is what he says.
Ugh.
But yeah, straight dinner. You don't take somebody else's milk if you can avoid it.
The idea of milk is a casual beverage. Milk's for babies.
Wow, turning on the milk, people.
If you want to add a flavour to it, no judgment, but milk's for babies.
Do you not have a glass of milk? Really? You're vegan, so you wouldn't drink milk?
And when I see people just walking down the street drinking that wee plastic container,
walking down the street in the middle of the day drinking milk is weird behaviour, I won't admit. A wee nice cold glass of milk. My dad has milk every night with his dinner.
I've seen people do it. I had
he has like mince and totties and a big pint of milk.
Every night it's mince and totties.
I just named it at dinner. I don't mean like that.
Is he the psycho?
He's like, that's my mom bush up with me. So I'm like, oh.
And he's still got a hole cut in the bathroom. And he's been married to her for how long?
40 years, so he just looks like he's just a pervert, to be honest.
He's just got a tile he takes into the bathroom and looks through.
Starts behind it. His wee milk moustache.
He does that on a Saturday before watching Forrest Gump with you on a Sunday. She opens up her suitcase and looks for a place to hide the money. She decides to put it in newspaper, which she then puts on a bedside table. She hears a woman's voice from the house. It sounds like Norman's mother, who is very upset at the thought of Norman having Marion up to the house. Mother thinks Norman is up to something dirty and sexual. Yeah?
Yep, that's right. She says, like, young boys are only interested in one thing or something like that. I'm not having some whore come up to my house or something like that. She's really quite mean about it, and obviously with the window open, she hears all this. Marion hears all this.
We are always getting this from Marion's perspective, and it's like the house is eating her.
It's just great. The fact that the house is up on a hill, overlooking you, it's ominous at all times. It's like on top of you, dominating the shot. It's fantastic.
Norman eventually screams at his mother to shut up. He says, "My mother isn't herself today."
That's a great line, by the way.
It is.
Like, it's like the foreshadowing's great, and it's so creepy when you know the twist.
Norman asks Marion to come eat dinner in the office. He brings her into the parlour. The parlour has stuffed birds everywhere.
Yeah, it's creepy, man.
Norman just watches as Marion eats.
Again, kind of creepy.
He stutters a little from nervousness. He seems shy.
He says taxidermy is more than a hobby. She says it's good for a man to have a hobby. Is it really a hobby if it fills up all your time or something like that? And I'm thinking, is that all he does?
Oh, you're not getting a lot of customers, so he's just...
Here's the thing though, the taxidermy I thought was going to come into play later, but it doesn't really.
The two talk about Norman's mother. We get the impression Norman doesn't have a lot of friends. He talks about being trapped. He
says the boy's best friend is his mother.
Amazing.
Yeah, so creepy.
Norman talks about his mum being mentally ill. She raised him after his father died. He says she had met a man a few years back and the man died and she went insane.
Yeah, he sort of trails off as well. He says, mother met a man, but he died a few years ago. He convinced her to build the hotel. Then he died a few years ago, and the way he died, and sort of trails off. He's like, oh, it's nothing to be talking about when you're eating.
He smoked him.
Oh man, he smoked him. He smoked this guy.
He took
He
care
dumped this
of him.
guy.
Oh. Norman says he can't leave his mum, even though she is awful. Marion asks whether he couldn't put her in an institution, and he does not like this.
Oh, that's a trigger for him.
Oh, Marion, you shouldn't have done that.
No, he's fucking raging at this point.
He's going to suplex you.
What is it? He says like a madhouse. Thinks he's mad or whatever. And she's like, oh, I didn't mean any offence. I was just saying. He's like, oh, people never mean offence. And he gets pure touchy about it.
How great is he here?
He's so good. That's what I'm saying. Like, so the whole innocent guy that we seen at the start is totally nice, likeable, charming, and then he just switches it on. Just the change in demeanour, the way he sits forward, his eyes, his tone of voice just changes, and it's chilling, man. It's proper creepy.
It is chilling. This would be when Marion should get back in the motor with that newspaper and get out of there.
100%. First of all, it stopped raining, so there's no reason for her really to stay there. Like, he's just told her that Fairville is like 15 miles away. That's not that big a drive at all.
He's gave you a glass of milk, a
Incredible.
sandwich with just tomatoes in it, nothing else. Literally just tomatoes, and there's dead birds everywhere. And he says they're all stuffed, but some of them are still just dead because I can smell them. You need to go.
At this point, you politely excuse yourself. You go into the room as soon as you're in that room, you lock the door. You throw all your shit back in your suitcase and you're dust.
You can hear the soundtrack. It sounds scary. You need to get out of there. She just goes to bed instead. She mentions her name is Crane as she goes.
That's right, yep. And then as soon as she leaves, he looks at the register and sees that she's put a fake name down. And he kind of smiles as if, like, he knows that she's at it.
No.
So, gotcha, bitch.
Got one.
Because he knows that, like, obviously she's on the run or something, or she's nobody's looking for her, so he thinks. Do you know what I mean? Because he thinks that she's running away for something.
Which that kind of residence must attract all the time.
Oh man, he'll be used to people that are wanting just to lay low for a wee while after, like, some sort of armed robbery.
Oh, this is where you want to go after an armed robbery.
Oh, totally.
This is the final shootout. This is where you leave Marion for the first time as you go with another perspective. Did you notice that?
No, but that's a real good point.
So interesting.
Also, there's a bit where she actually changes her mind as well, because remember, when she gets up, she's like, I've got a long drive tomorrow, I'm going back to Phoenix, as if she's having second thoughts.
She's fine with taking the money back.
It appears that she's realised she made a mistake, she's going to go back, give the money back, and hopefully get her job back, maybe, or face the consequences. Like, this conversation with her, maybe she's giving her second thoughts. So she's kind of going to do the right thing. It's implied, although we never find out.
We get Norman going back into the parlour, removes a picture frame and looks through this wee hole that he's porkied himself. He looks through this wee hole he's created for himself.
Watches her get into the shower. Well, not get into the shower, just get ready for a shower. He's just seeing her underwear. Like, there's no nudity. Not necessary for her to be nude as well. Like, it's done really well. This is the scene that really done it for me in the remake, man. So the remake with Vince Vaughn and this scene where he starts wanking.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man? That's so unnecessary. Do you know, I think it's like it works much better in the original, where it's just implied that he's watching her. Do you know what I mean?
I think Big Hitch still filmed it.
Oh, he filmed it. That was his cell. Hitchcock's like, I'll show you it today. I'll stand here first.
It's like, right, Perkins, man.
Like, watching later.
Go for it. It was an interesting idea. Gus Van Sant's cycle, the shot-for-shot remake apart for inclusions like that. I don't know. It is. I've seen it twice. I don't imagine I'll watch it again.
I've seen it once and that was enough. I was just like, it loses all the subtlety.
He probably couldn't have got away with no doing something a bit extreme for the period it was in, 98.
Yeah. But even then, that if you're going to extreme, maybe ramp up the violence, like show more blood or something.
Hitchcock would have liked it. The
Dirty dog that he was.
dirty dog, man. He'd have rolled out his grave to get up quicker to get a ticket to go to the first showing.
Alright.
Will there be tittage?
I want to buy a ticket for this film. I hear there's titties.
Yeah, all this voyeurism is totally Hitchcock's thing. Marion gets her robe on. Norman puts the picture back and leaves the hotel. He seems real determined. He walks back up to the house. You see him inside. He sits down. We get Marion here. She's writing notes on a bit of paper about the money.
No.
Have I bypassed a lot?
Lots to say about this. No, you're right. She is writing notes. She's not writing a note, Karen. Did you see what she was writing in this bit of paper? This annoyed me more than anything in the entire movie.
She's trying to figure out how to pay back the $700.
No, she's not. No, see, that would make sense. What she's wrote in that bit of paper there infuriated me beyond belief. I'm watching this with my wife and I'm like, what the fuck? What she's doing is a sum in her head because she can't work out what's 40,000 minus 700. She's wrote down 40,000 and then under it 700, then the wee takeaway sign, then a wee equal sign, and she's sitting there with an abacus like trying to work out this sum. It's like, who can he take £700 at 40,000?
Oh, Queen Marion.
But do you know what I mean? Like, because this wouldn't have been that bad if it didn't come back later, but this is like a vital clue later on when they find it in the toilet. She's had to write down this sum. Does she not work in like finance? Is her job not like to put sales and that through, like big expensive sales through for houses? $40,000 minus $700, and she's pure, I need the pen and paper for that one. Is it just me? I feel like I'm getting very angry and animated about this.
I'm getting a wee bit raging. She takes her robe off and gets into the shower and slips into the most famous scene in film history.
I've written that down. I was going to ask you about that. Is this the most famous scene in any film ever?
This is it.
This is probably also the most parodied scene. It's getting to the point now where this scene gets parodied in like Bleach adverts and stuff now. Do you remember that Mr. Muscle advert was like some woman in a shower, and then like you see the shadow and the music starts.
And he plugs something?
No, he's got like a toilet brush and he's going to clean the shower. He's got like bleach in one hand and a toilet brush in the other hand. And she's like, and it's like an advert about how he just can't wait to clean the shower. And she's like, wait until I'm out, sort of thing.
Somebody was paid for that.
It's garbage, aye.
That's the most obvious Mr. Muscle advert I've ever heard. And I've heard a couple.
But do you know what I mean? Like, this is one of those ones that you don't have to see in the movie. Like, everybody knows this is Psycho. People haven't seen Psycho, but they know the shower, they know the music score.
Man, this is just a pristine product, isn't it? This is this is a good bad boy. This is, if you were to compare it to it, and you're like, is it that scene? Like, I mean, this is perfect. Especially
horror, like there's certain scenes in horror that's synonymous, and this is like that one. Like, even independent of the movie is amazing. But you take this out of the movie and it's just the shower scene, everybody knows it. Like, the pop culture landscape is like changed forever.
Definitely.
This is like the measuring stick to any other iconic horror scene.
Marion gets in the shower and you see the water coming out of the shower head. Famous shot. Marion washes. You see a figure coming at her through the curtain.
Yep, just a silhouette at this point.
The figure pulls the curtain open and you see it's a woman or the shadow of a womanly figure.
Yeah.
Holding a knife.
A big, massive knife as well. A big fuck-off kitchen knife.
The soundtrack starts up. Every shot here is famous.
Yep. The pan to her mouth as she screams with the big... I can't do it. We'll go down impression of it.
The slashing knife.
The slashing. The fact that you see absolutely no violence. It's just slashing and screaming.
The
the blood in the water.
Way Janet Leigh turns around is so vulnerable and sad.
Yep.
As she tries to defend herself.
She kind of just hugs against the wall because she didn't know where to go.
She slides down the wall, hand gripping the shower curtain.
Pulls the shower curtain off.
She pulls it with her. And we see this final shot of the blood swirling down the drain.
Amazing.
Which dissolves into this really extreme close-up of Marion's unblinking eye.
How did they do that, man? That looks seamless.
Incredible.
It's amazing. And this slow pan out from her eye to her just dead, hunched over this bathtub. And I am shook. This is the scene that I'm saying, like, if you went back in time and seen this in a cinema, the place would have been going crazy, man. People would have been screaming in the aisles. Do you know what I mean? Do you think so? 1960, they hadn't seen anything like this before.
I think everybody would have been shocked, but you would have been this time traveller going back doing the flash dance and
the aisles.
Pure excited. Or you'd have jumped up and went, see? Do you see what I'm talking about? And they'd have been like, no, this is the first time we've seen this. It's 1960.
Well, alright, this gets remade later with Vince Vaughn. It's not as good.
And he chugs! He chugs! And everybody goes, hey, what's this about chugs?
Oh, you don't know what that is earlier? Here's Billy Connolly.
Because you've time travelled.
But I'm in America somehow. I'm talking about chugging.
What's this about chugging?
Billy Connolly's like, do you want to see my wellies? They're like, who are you? How did you get here? How did they let you take a banjo in here?
I brought a copy of Pause.
If it wasn't for boo,
D-I-V-O.
Fucking get it. The Ushers are scholars. I don't know why I'm time travelling with Billy Connolly.
The camera pulls out from her eye to show her whole face, and then the bathroom, cutting again to the shower head, and we pan across from the room to the newspaper on our bedside table with the across the room to the newspaper on our bedside table with the money.
Amazing. There's nothing more we can say about this scene. It's been analysed to death, and quite rightly.
It implies this is her fate.
Yeah.
In a way.
It's like the money is what led to this.
The money brought her here, in a way.
Yeah. And I don't know, I'm going to make this statement, I don't know if it's true, you can correct me if you know this. Is this the first time ever in a movie that, like, the main character of the film has been killed off, like, halfway through?
You could say Sunset Boulevard does it immediately.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, but that's what I mean. Like, you spend about an hour, I don't know exactly, on 45 minutes with this one character. Like, entirely with this one character for the entire movie, and then suddenly, halfway through it, it's like, she's killed, and then we're starting all over again, it feels like from someone else's point of view.
They pan to this open door through which you can see the house and hear Norman yelling at his mother. Oh, mother, blood, blood.
As if he's found her covered in blood. Then you see him running down from the house in a panic. He runs into the hotel room, all flustered. He finds the body, he's shook. He leans against the wall, covering his mouth as if he's so shocked to see this. He knocks down the picture of the bird. And then immediately goes into Dexter mode.
Oh, he needs rid of this broad.
Aye.
Norman gets poor Marion onto the shower curtain. He washes his hands. More blood goes down the drain.
Cleaning the side of the tub, washing the blood off his hands, putting her on the shower curtain, as you said, taking all the items, every single bit of evidence that he can find that she belongs, putting it all in the suitcase, putting her in the trunk of the car, going back, putting all the stuff in the case, putting the suitcase in the trunk of the car with her, him going back to do one final check of the room, seeing the newspaper. The way he picks up the newspaper, you think, oh no, the money's going to fall out or something, and he just tosses the newspaper on the side of the car as well and just dumps that along with it.
It's never been about the money. It's never been about the money.
Exactly. So I guess it's a red herring.
It's just chilling. Well, you think it's going to be the MacGuffin, but...
Yeah, but it's not.
It's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the reason, obviously, that she ran away, but that's all the money's for. Just so we now have a reason why she's left town. But he's got no interest in it. Obviously doesn't know it's there. I'm sure he would have took it if he'd seen it, but...
You could argue the money was her downfall, but he was going to do this anyway.
Yeah, it was never... He didn't care. He didn't even know there was money. He just wanted to do this because of his mental health.
He drives the car into this convenient swamp, which is just 2 minutes down the road.
It's a bit weird that there's just this swamp perfect for ditching cars right next to his hotel. This scene's good as well because as he ditches the car, he's eating something that's like sweeties out of a wee brown bag, or is it peanuts? I don't know what he's eating, but he's like eating something nervously and waiting for this car to sink because it's going so slowly, and he's kind of, you can see like the internal monologue in his head of like, please sink, please sink.
I was just saying it's a shame he ran that motel then and no in 2000 because he could have advertised that swamp because of Shrek.
Fucking hell. Get out my swamp!
And this is the end of a really tense scene.
Oh, 100%. And this is like basically where the movie sort of starts, or the rest of this is, I guess it's the start of Act 2, but like it's like feels like we're in a whole different movie now. Because as you said, the noir element is gone, this sort of crime element is gone, and it is now just turned into a horror movie all of a sudden, very suddenly. Like since the shower scene onwards, it's like just horror.
Yeah.
It's great. The tone of the movie totally changes.
We're in Sam's hardware store. He's writing a letter to Marion, who will never read it because she's dead. Up front, a woman is trying to buy insect poison and worrying about whether it will kill painlessly. Hitchcock is having some fun with this.
Yeah.
Lila comes into the store and asks Sam if Marion is there. She isn't, she's dead. Lila explains that Marion left home and hasn't been heard from since. Lila is really upset. She thinks Sam and Marion may have stolen the money together, but Sam doesn't know what she's talking about. He's like, what money?
And then in strolls Big Dick, Big Arbogast here. First of all, what a name.
Big Arbogast.
Arbogast.
You don't want him after you.
Arbogast strolls in, and this guy straight out of like a 1940s Dick Tracy thing. Like,
Hey, she.
Hey, dollfish. Hey, it's all about the money, see?
I'm looking for the cash, see?
Nah, that's what it's like. This guy's like, my wife's like, this guy, I can't take this guy seriously. He's got the big bowler hat on. He's got the suit. He looks like one of those guys where he's got a brown bag. It says the word swag on it.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. It's all about the schmackaroonies. Your sister took off the money, see?
Arbogast and Lila tell Sam that Marion took the 40k. They don't want to prosecute her. They just want the money back. Aye, right.
White privilege.
Man.
Because she's a pretty white girl, she just gets to get back and always forget.
I disagree.
I'll be fucking right. No, that's what they're saying to get her back into town, but as soon as she gets back into town, she gets huckled.
Oh, no, huckle, man. She'll be in the junkyard.
Oh, I see. Aye. He's like, just here. Give me 30 grand back. Here's 10 grand to get rid of her.
Sam assures them Marion isn't there because he's been watching the film a long ways.
He knows that she's dead.
Big Arbogast says he's going to find the money one way or another.
What does that mean?
He's going to break some fingers.
Aye. Gonna break your thumb, Shay.
He becomes the hero in a way.
It kind of does. It kind of springs into action here. And this becomes the Arbogast show for the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh, see this montage of him going through these seedy motels?
That's quite funny. It's not supposed to be funny, but I'm kind of laughing. Because he literally has went through every hotel and B&B in California, which I'm assuming there must be thousands of, and has chapped every single door.
Many John Holmes productions Jinky walked in on.
Oh, a few.
We get this montage of Arbogast checking out all these hotels and motels, and inevitably he...
Hey, have you seen this broad? She stole the look, see? The like white or what? It's 1960. Hey, sweet cheeks, enough of your back talk.
No, like, peace, man.
Hey, man, peace. What is this? Happy bullshit? Go wash your hair.
And we've got this. And it turns
Before you get my backhand, see?
It's probably just me like the 50s at this point. And we've been back in these costumes. You know, I'm in a hippie costume. And it isn't real material.
Hippie's went about into like the late 60s as well.
64, wasn't it?
Aye, when the war started. Everybody's just normal. We've got this guy for the 30s. Hippies for like the 70s.
We look like Bill and Ted. Socrates is back.
Me and Billy Connolly standing there. Hello, everybody. Want to hear a song? It's a Billy fucking show. No. Your music's shite, just take some stand up.
I broke his banjo in the Old West. And inevitably he pulls up outside the Bates Motel where Norman is eating some candy. He's just sitting eating candy.
It's pretty funny after brutally murdering somebody, he's just eating a bag of sweeties.
Percy pigs. They go into the office. Arbogast asks if Norman's seen Marion and shows him her picture. My God, what a sentence. Arbogast asks if Norman's seen Marion and shows him her picture.
That's a word jumble there.
Norman says he hasn't because he's a lying liar.
He's a lying sack of shit.
His pants are
He
on
doesn't
fire.
even look at the picture, which is funny. He just says no immediately.
Does he not look at it?
No, he folds like a pack of cards as well, Norman. You'd think him being like this sort of maniacal serial killer and how efficient he was at getting rid of the body, he would be better at questioning here, but he falls apart here.
He says no one's been by in weeks, but then Arbogast looks at the books and he sees that Marion registered under an alias.
Get rid of that book or rip that page out. You would think if you've just killed somebody, you'd meant to erase the record.
That book should be in Shrek's swamp.
Exactly, throw the book in there, or at least use some Tipex.
There's a weird shot below here when Norman's looking at the register. It's really cool. I don't know, I took a note of that. He's forced to admit that he recognises Marion's picture. He says that she did come in that night, but she left early in the morning. He starts his nervous stutter.
Yeah, which is really great. He's acting so good to you. But as soon as he's under any sort of pressure, he starts stuttering. He mentioned that it's linen day, so he's holding all this linen and he's going to change all the beds. And he says something like, I change all the beds even if nobody's staying there because I hate the smell of dampness. He says that, what is it he says exactly? Hold on. He says, I find the smell of dampness very creepy, don't you?
Yeah.
And yet, you know what his mom must smell like at this point as well.
What do you mean?
Well, we don't know this at the point, but the spoiler, his dead ma's in the house.
I think
she must be stinking.
She's beyond that point, I think.
I guess she's just a skeleton, but
she's just a husk.
Do you think he sprays like some Febreze on her or something?
He goes outside, looks at the house, someone's sitting up at the window. Norman denies that there's anyone there at first, then admits it's his mother. Arbogast wants to talk to this mother, see if she met Marion, but Norman won't let him.
This is when he starts getting quite aggressive. Like, Norman's like, absolutely not, like, no way, you can't see my mother. Because I just want to speak to her, and he says that she's ill, she's bedridden sort of thing, and he's like, kind of like, oh, she's sitting up now. And he's just like, I'm asking you to leave now, and he gets pure like, mate, go and fuck off.
Norman just needs to get quicker at his game, man. You know, like Mrs. Doubtfire handles that meeting.
Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire, she throws that stuff in her face. Hello! Oh, that was terrible. Yours was much better than mine.
The face mask falls into the coffee. She's
amazing.
Like, oh dear.
Part of my homemade brew. And she drinks it and all. She gives it to that woman, the woman drinks it. I don't care how polite you are, you refuse that. I'm like, that was on your face, mate.
And it came off Robin Williams, so you know it's hairy cream.
It's all clumps in the sink when you pour it out.
Arbogast leaves, but he will be back. Norman smiles after he goes. He thinks this is all dealt with and it's going to be fine.
How does he not know that's went terribly?
I would have set fire to the house, the motel.
Aye, I'd be off. I'd be dust.
I think I can pull that motor back out the swamp and drive away in it.
Aye. No loan, you get £400,000 in today's money in the backseat.
At this payphone, Arbogast calls Lila. He tells her he found Marion, mentions the Bates Motel, and he says he wants to go back to talk to Norman's mother. Arbogast says he'll be back in an hour and tells her he doesn't think Sam knew Marion was there.
Yeah, that's right. He pretty much admits, he's like, I don't think Sam done it, I don't think he's in on it. I think he's innocent, but it's very important that he says to them, like, I'll be back in an hour, probably less. Basically setting up for the next scene. Egg is back to the hotel.
Stupid move.
Nobody's there. Norman's not there to be seen. He starts looking about. He checks in the parlour. He checks in the safe. Does he check the rooms as well?
He goes into the office. He sees the birds checks the empty safe.
Mm-hmm.
The strings start up again.
And then he decides he's going to go up to the house.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough, I get that he's got a hunch. But what I don't get is why would you just let yourself into somebody's house? He should have up and knocked the door at the very least.
Do you think Arbogast cares about rules?
Oh, is he like a rogue cop? He's a cop, he's a PI, but he's a PI. He'll do anything to get to the bottom of a case.
Cares about getting results, hard liquor and women.
So Arbogast lets himself in, walks up the stairs, and sort of unceremoniously is just killed at the top of the stairs. We see a woman, I assume the mother with the wig on and stuff, come out of the room with a knife and just stabs him at the top of the stairs. That's really sort of not very good looking fall down these stairs. And then she follows him down, sits on top of him and stabs him one more time.
Do you think he thought he was going to have the kill of the film, man? And he pure broke his family and all that, and he's like, oh, wait till you see this, baby.
People will remember this for years.
This is going to be amazing. It took us forever. And by the way, wait till you see who the killer is at the end. This is going to be amazing. And he go there and that shower scene happened and everybody was up and down. There's this time traveller there with his pal with banana shoes running about saying how great it is. And his scene is, because you can't top that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good scene. This whole movie.
There's
good,
more action in this scene.
This scene's like, and arguably this is more tense because the shower scene, you're not expecting it, it's a shock. Whereas this, we already know that he's a killer, or there is a killer on the loose, and he's snuck into this creepy looking house. So, in fairness, this should have been the creepier, more intense scene, but for some reason it's just not.
Yeah, at this point I'm like, hold on a minute. I know how films work. We had a lead that got killed. He got tagged in. He's
and
dead.
10 minutes later, he's pan-buried.
No, I'm trying to do the math like Marion. Who's the lead of this? Who's the lead?
There isn't a lead. Well, I guess the lead is Norman.
Oh, it's the handsome Sam.
Yeah, well, but again, Sam is your lead, and I guess he is your hero at the end of the day. But he's not really in it until the last 15 minutes of the film.
They just pepper him in at the start.
You see him pumping her at the start of the film. That's my cut. That's the director's cut. That's the bootlegged Hitchcock version, where he literally just pumps her.
Yours is Ron Shield and Gus Van Sant.
Just Hitchcock pulling it.
Yours,
good evening, is what he says when he's finished. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Back at Sam's, they're waiting for Arbogast to return. He said he'd be back in an hour, but now it's been free. Lila wants to go to the Bates place, but Sam is reluctant.
Aye, Sam's like, you're a woman, you can't do anything on your own, I'll go.
I think he just wants the money to come to him, and he doesn't want his fingerprints to wear it yet.
Aye, maybe. But, I don't know, I'm watching this scene with my wife and she thinks this is pretty sexist. I didn't see it myself, but it's that, like, when Sam's like, no, I'll go, she's like, of course you'll go. Fucking man wants to be the hero.
She finally convinces him to...
I think you just skated past that entirely.
I didn't know what to say.
You didn't want to touch that with a bathroom.
I agree.
Moving right on.
I mean,
it's as uncomfortable as possible.
It's 1960. What did you want?
Big Sam puffs out his big chest.
She finally convinces him to go check the Bates Motel. She stays there, so she'll be there if Arbogast comes back. And back at the motel, you see Norman out at the swamp, where he's just clearly sunk Arbogast.
Yeah, totally. It's a good scene because Sam goes to the hotel. There's nobody there. He presses the bell or whatever, looks about. There's nobody around. Then we see Norman at the swamp. So they just kind of missed each other at ships in the night. So he then goes back. I thought as soon as Sam goes to this hotel, that's him dead. But like, he's one of the few people in this movie that goes to the hotel and makes it back. So Sam is like the only person who like goes to the hotel and doesn't interact with Norman and then makes it back alive.
Yeah. He's just kind of lucky he didn't see him.
Yeah, ironically enough, the reason that he doesn't meet Norman is because Norman's disposing of the last guy that he just killed.
Yeah.
When he does return, Lila and him talk and they agree to meet the local sheriff.
Sorry, Norman does hear him shouting though, doesn't he?
Yeah, we see him at the swamp eating his sweeties again, and you do hear him somebody's shouting Bates or something like that, and you see Norman look around. But I guess he must not get back in time or whatever.
Sam returns to Lila.
And Sam returns to Lila, and they agree basically to go and see the sheriff because they think that possibly Arbogast. Oh no, they don't think this is the sheriff that makes up this plan.
Sam says maybe Arbogast found a lead, but Lila says he would have called.
Yeah, Lila doesn't feel comfortable. He said he'd be back in less than an hour. He's not been back. They went to the hotel and there was no sign of anybody. Something's not right, so maybe it's time to call the authorities, which, in fairness, probably should have done earlier. But now they finally deserve to go and see the sheriff, who Sam knows, I guess, because it's a small town.
Yeah, they're buds.
So they go to see the sheriff in his house. It appears that it's like the middle of the night, maybe.
Yeah.
Because they're in the sheriff's living room with his wife, who's lovely. His wife's like the nicest character in this movie.
This is Sheriff Chambers.
Yeah, they explain the situation to Sheriff Chambers.
They explain the plot.
Yeah, they explain the plot of the movie, just to catch everybody up. The sheriff, in fairness, hears them out, but he has his suspicions.
Imagine you came in late to this film, or you saw just the start of it, and you came back and she's dead. Hold on, Arbogast is dead or not? And they'll say to you,
left?
How did you know about Arbogast if you missed that at the start?
It's like, shh.
Sam and Lila mention Norman's mother, which confuses the sheriff and his wife. They decide to call Norman and find out what's up. On the phone, Norman says Arbogast left. The sheriff then drops the bombshell, but Norman's mother's been dead for years.
Yeah, she's buried in the cemetery. And his wife says I even helped him pick out the dress that she'd be buried in.
Mrs. Bates.
And Layla says, there was definitely a woman at the hotel, I'm sure of it. And the sheriff's kind of, not dismissive, but he's kind of like, well, I can assure you it's not the mother. And if it is, then who's buried in that coffin?
Turns out Mrs. Bates poisoned her boyfriend after finding out he was married and then killed herself.
Yeah, so it was a murder-suicide, and Norman found them.
And
Norman's been alone ever since.
Sorry?
And Norman has been alone ever since.
Sam says he also saw an old woman in the Bates house, so now they're wondering if the mother is actually alive and if they buried someone else.
But the sheriff thinks that Arbogast got a lead on the money and it's just a way to basically get the money for himself. Remember the sheriff floats the idea that maybe Arbogast found the 40 grand and just took off with it.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a decent theory. Like, it makes more sense than what actually happens. So I mean, like, logically.
We cut to Norman in his office. He goes out to the house and up the stairs. Then from outside the room, you hear Norman arguing with his mother.
It's the same camera shot. Like, when he's arguing with his mother, the camera's at the top of the stairs, exact same shot as when Arbogast died. Just an auto detail.
It's a haunting shot.
Yeah. Yeah, it says that she needs to hide in the wine cellar?
The fruit cellar?
Fruit cellar, yeah.
But she says she won't go. It sounds like Norman put her down there before, though we get the impression he's done this before.
She says, I'm not going down there again, so this isn't the first time that somebody's came looking.
Norman finally picks her up. We get this overhead shot.
That's really creepy shot.
You see him carrying her downstairs.
But it's done really well where her face is obscured. Because the overhead shot, you see the back of Norman's head, you see the body, but you still don't see the mother's face. This is all very mysterious and well done. Again, it's one of those movies that watching it back, you wish you didn't know the twist. Because it's so good. But it still totally works watching it back, knowing the twist, but because you notice little things. But I just wish that I would have seen this for the first time again.
The Chambers meet outside the Fairville church. The Chambers meet Sam and Lila. The sheriff says he went to the motel to talk to Norman and the boy was alone. The sheriff didn't see the old woman at the window. Chambers tells Lila and Sam to report the missing person and the theft.
No, the sheriff says that he was in the house. He went up to the house and looked around. But of course, he's hid her in the fruit cellar, so like he's been in the house and he's looked in all the rooms. we're kind of led to believe in Norman's let him in, but obviously he's not checked the cellar. He's probably just took a wee look around and seen that he's Norman's clearly there alone, he's just left. And as you said, he's just told him to file a missing persons report.
He was a boy or a wifey getting away with it.
He was. Until Big Sam comes up with a plan. The hero of the movie, Big Sam, comes in here.
They plan to register as man and wife and then search the place.
Here's my problem with this scene. It's a good idea. Sam and Lila decide to just book into this hotel and look around. I get the plan. Nobody can just be cool though. Like, Sam is immediately so rude to Norman at reception. He's a pure dick. Did you not find this?
Yeah, I got a bit
It's
of
like they
that.
should have just been cool. They should have just been a polite wee family. Or we're just checking in for the while. But immediately Sam's like, it's fucking state of you.
He wants Sam takes one look at him and knows he's a psycho.
Aye.
Sam says he needs to sign in and get a receipt for his boss.
Yeah. He says it's a work trip, but then he's there with his wife.
They all seem really tense and nervous.
Yeah.
They go off to room 10.
Yeah.
Lila is determined to look in room 1. She thinks that Norman maybe took the money from Marion.
Yeah, they've got to the point where they think Marion was definitely here. They know Arbogast was here at some point. They know that Norman knows something. But at this point, as you say, they think that maybe he's maybe killed her, or at least robbed her, and he's got the money, so they want to search for clues in her room. How did they find out she's in room 1 again?
It
Is
would
it
have,
in the- is it
it
in
would
the
have been in the
book?
book.
Yeah.
It would have been in the book. Sam notices that the shower curtain in room 1 was torn down. I mean, Norman really should have replaced that pretty quickly.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's sort of something you'd only notice if you're looking for it.
And he's been rattling people in Shrek Swamp, man, all day.
Aye. Man, he's going through me a shower curtains and they can replace. As
Lila,
if they've got Amazon where they can just order one. He has to go out. Jimmy has to go out and buy one. That's annoying.
Lila finds one of the torn bits of paper that Marion threw in the toilet. It has the figure 40,000 on it. Lila thinks that...
She finds her wee son in a pissy toilet.
And she's like, oh man, Marion's been doing math again.
That never good when Marion starts doing sums.
Lila thinks that means that Norman knew about the money. She also thinks that Arbogast talked to Mrs. Bates, so Lila is determined to talk to Mrs. Bates.
Yeah, so they come up with this plan that Sam's going to go and find Norman and distract him. While he's distracting him, she's going to sneak up to the house and speak to the mother.
Sam finds Norman and says he would like to chat with him, whilst Lila naps. But Lila isn't napping, she's sneaking up to the house. And the strings start again. She enters the house. We cut back to Norman and Sam. Sam is super tense and he's trying to grill him here. I thought he was going to waterboard him.
Fucking be cool, Sam. All his job here, Sam, is to just distract him. Just distract him by being nice. Oh, did you watch the baseball game last week? Do you know what I mean? Just talk about it. But Sam's immediately like, you knew a bit of money, didn't you, you prick? What's your angle? You're a It's like, be cool, man. Just
Practically
try to distract.
attaching a core battery to his nips.
Man, he's the worst. Sam is the worst at this. All you need to do is just distract him. That's your job. Keep him occupied. Don't start immediately getting aggro with him. And it's so suspicious. Nobody in this movie is good at being subtle. I noticed this. So at the start of the movie, we've got what's her name?
Marion.
Yeah, we'll get Marion at the start of the movie, who's like terrible at dealing with these cops. Like, she's so shady from the get go. Then we've got Arbogast, who's just like, hey, she gets killed. Then we've got Norman, who just folds up a pack of cards as soon as Arbogast starts asking some questions. Then we get Sam, who all he has to do is distract me. He's pure like, you stole the money! Tell me you stole the money! It's like, see if one person in this movie just had some composure. They'd like away with it.
The only one that's cool is the
moth.
off-screen character you don't see is the one running the swamp. He's just making bank.
Aye, Shrek.
Can I dump? Aye.
£100 a body! No, that's Billy Connolly again, sorry. Shrek.
That is cheaper than what you could get. The risk factor alone.
1960s money though, £100 a body is no bad. if you had a swamp or even like a trash compactor or something, like in your work, and somebody come up to you and they offered you whatever £100 is worth these days, like 1960s money, 100 grand,
10 G's.
10 G's,
10 G's, it has to be worth it.
and they're like, you don't need to do anything. All you need to do is just leave the
10 G's.
gate open the night, and we'll.
It's my yard. Where else you going to take it? And you've brought the body to me already. Well, I'm just going to report your license plate as you're leaving that you've got a dead body in there unless you pay me 15k now.
Oh, you fucking hustling them?
I'm rough, man.
Oh no, but these are gangsters, man.
Oh,
These are like these people.
listen, I'm in it for a short game. I die in 2 weeks, but I live large for 2 weeks.
Really?
It's a good way to date, isn't it?
I see people doing this in movies though. You try to hustle them,
Where else you going to take
then
it?
you'll get hustled.
I am the guy that dies in the pilot and they take his business.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like they just throw you in the compactor and replace you with somebody else.
Who's the, is it Cappuccino Joe for Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yeah.
I'm a character he would
Mocha
play in
Joe.
the 90s. Mocha Joe. You know who he would play in the 90s in the gangster film? That's
The
me.
guy that owns a garage, that gets killed at the start.
He's no meeting Pacino in the end of the film.
No, he's the guy that's just like, oh, I'm a little short this week, but I'll get you
Exactly.
next week. And they're like, no, you fucking know me.
Exactly. And he
In
shows
fact,
up later.
He might have, I'm not even joking, he might have been in The Sopranos playing that exact character.
I guarantee it. And he shows up at one bit with a broken nose because he disrespected somebody earlier.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
He's got
anyway.
a broken nose and a black eye. And he comes up and he apologises to Tony. It won't happen again, T.
I clearly bowed out of that conversation like 20 seconds ago and you saw it and you just kept going.
I played on, man. I'm like Sam, I just don't know when to shut the
You
fuck up.
just keep going. Yeah, Lila searches upstairs in the house, but Mrs. Bates isn't there, which is weird because there's a wardrobe full of dresses. Lila is startled by her own reflection moving in the mirror.
Big shite bag.
And the bed looks like someone has been sleeping in it.
This is a bit much. The bed. Would the bed no like spring up into shape? Like, have you ever got a bed that's kept your exact shape there?
I've got
This is
a
like Homer's arse print on the couch.
memory foam top. I've got a memory foam topper.
Your memory foam didn't exist in the 60s, man. This was just like feathers or whatever. They put in mattresses back then.
They did in cartoons, right? Aye. Sam is still talking to Norman and being very confrontational. Norman is getting a bit cranky. My mother and I were more than happy, Norman says. Lila snoops around some more. We get Sam provoking a confrontation with Norman by talking about his mother, causing him to get suspicious. Sam
outright mentions the money.
Sam pretty much accuses him of stealing the money, but also tells Norman that they're going to talk to Mrs. Bates. Norman at this point figures out that Lila's up there.
Yeah, it's like, where's that woman you came with? And then he panics.
He struggles with Sam and clonks him in the big stupid head.
With a big vase or something like that. And then runs up to the house and the music tenses up because he's running to the house. Just as he's running to the house, we see Lila going downstairs towards the foot cupboard.
The fruit cellar.
Oh, clever.
The fruit cupboard.
It looks like a cupboard when we see it. It's hardly a fucking grand cellar. It's just a cupboard with some apples and a dead body in it.
Spoiler.
So sorry.
You pure spunk the money shot, man. That's it, done. Just let's rate it and go home.
A pure spunk early.
Down in the fruit cellar, she sees a woman sitting in a chair. She touches the woman on the shoulder. This is Mrs. Bates, clearly. She touches the woman on the shoulder. The figure turns around.
Yeah, the chair sort of spins around and we see this pretty horrific looking skeleton with a wig on, eyes gouged out, well not gouged out, just dead obviously. And then we get this big dramatic scream from Lila. Just at that moment, Norman comes in behind her, wearing a wig and a dress. Again, this is a scene that, like...
And I'm like, oh my god, it's Mrs. Bass's sister. There's an auntie.
Auntie Bass.
And I've not figured it out. I'm still trying to figure it out.
There's another woman?
I was trying to figure out what 740,000 was. So, this is Norman as Mrs. Bates, and it is still incredible.
And it's terrifying.
It's
He's
so
got this
scary.
manic look in his eyes as well. He's got the knife in his hand. He runs in as if he's going to stab her. But then Big Sam, the hero, comes in behind him. This scene's a bit naff, though. The fight's a bit stupid looking.
He wrestles him to the ground. He wrestles Norman to the ground.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The way he wrestles him to the ground looks pure fake.
Oh, it's that, yeah.
It's like that 60s. They don't know what the early James Bond films. Do you remember when James Bond is like struggling to take a gun off somebody and it's pure, this choreographed fight and it looks pure stupid.
Because they hired all guys that were out of breath and they
Exactly, like it's no stuntmen, it's like the actors are doing this scene and it looks pure stupid. That's my nitpick of this movie, that and the maths equation.
I like we see the corpse's perspective.
Yeah.
And we slowly fade from there to the Fairvale police station. Sheriff Chambers, Lila, Sam and officials are waiting in the office. The sheriff explains that the psychiatrist is with Norman. And then the psychiatrist comes in.
Man, talk about an exposition dump. This psychiatrist comes in and basically explains everything in great detail.
He says that he got the story not from Norman, but from his mother.
Mm-hmm.
That is chilling.
Yeah.
Because you don't see or hear any of that.
Yeah.
And
you're getting this second hand.
Your mind makes up what that must have been like, and it's horrifying. He explains that Norman's personality has been taken over by his mother. The psychiatrists tell Lila that her sister and Abergast are dead. They're in the swamp, and that Norman may have killed others too. The psychiatrist explains that 10 years ago, Norman murdered his mother. He says Norman was disturbed ever since his father died. His mother was a clinging, demanding woman. The two of them, Norman and his mum, lived together alone, but then Mother met another man and Norman felt he'd been replaced. So Norman killed them both and his guilt took over?
Yeah. Guilt and I guess jealousy of his mother finding somebody else killed them both. It doesn't tell you how he killed them, does it?
No.
I assume it's poison?
He poisons them, yeah. Mm-hmm. He pretends his mother is still alive, steals her corpse and preserves it. They say preserve it, it's falling apart, man.
Aye, I mean, by preserving it, he's put clays on it, but the corpse falls apart, as you say.
Do you think he thinks putting clays on it will keep it alright?
Keep it nice and warm so it doesn't get too cold in the winter.
And he's like, why do I keep going down sizes? His personality is split in two. He became half his mother, half him. The mother half was jealous, so when Norman felt an attraction to another woman, his mother's half would become psychotic and psycho theme music.
Jealous rage, yep. Which is what happened with Marion.
Yep.
He found Marion attractive, he liked her, but I guess the mother side of his personality didn't like that, which is why in a rage he killed her in the shower.
The psychiatrist has this really creepy bit where he tells Lila how much Norman was aroused by her sister.
So I think the psychiatrist does a really good job here of explaining it, not just to the people in the room, but obviously to the audience watching the film. Because at the time, I guess mental health and I don't know if it's schizophrenia or split personality disorder or whatever it is that he has, wouldn't have been common back then. Or at least it wouldn't have had a name or a diagnosis. People back in those days were just, if you had any sort of mental health symptoms, they just put you in a hospital or in like the quote-unquote loony bin, do you mean? Because like, they didn't know how to deal with people. So it's kind of progressive, I guess, to hear people actually talking about and diagnosing somebody with a real problem. And I think the psychologist does a really good job of explaining this. However, there's a really unnecessary scene where like one of the stupid officials goes, well, how come he was wearing a dress? Is he a transvestite? And it's just like, he just explained that he thought he was his mom. I just felt like that didn't need to be explained. Like, he could have worked that out.
He explains as well that the mother's side is pretty much fully taken over now.
Yeah, he says something like Norman's gone, or something like the mother now controls him. Like I guess all these events that have happened have now, he's totally lost his mind and he's now just his mum.
The psychiatrist says that the money is in the swamp. Norman killed out of passion, not greed.
Yeah.
A policeman opens the door to ask if he can give Norman a blanket, and then he walks down the hall. This shot.
Oh, amazing. Incredible.
You hear a woman's voice thanking him, and then we're in the cell with the ominous music there. Norman's wrapped in this blanket, and we slowly zoom in on Norman. The mother's voice is speaking, saying that Norman was a bad person who tried to accuse her, but she says she would never commit murder. She says she can't hurt anyone, but she's going to sit very quietly so everyone watching knows that she's harmless. Then we get this fly on her hand, and she won't even swat it.
They'll see, I wouldn't even hurt a fly.
Norman gives this really creepy smile, which is overlaid with this
tiny frame of the mother's face, the skeleton.
Skull.
Yep.
And then the last image is of Marion's car being dragged from the swamp, and it's
a grim ending.
Ghostly, and you are left with that.
Yeah, man, the credits just start and you're like, what the fuck?
Nihilistic. This is a brutal movie.
Yep, totally.
Psycho 1960, man, rate this thing.
I mean, this is a pretty easy 5 coconuts for me.
You going for it?
I'm going for it.
You need to build up more than that.
No, you don't. Like, I gave Rocky a 5, and this is better than Rocky, put it that way. It came out in 1960, and I watched it last night, and it still holds up. I knew the twist, obviously, and I still loved it. I think that's the sign of a good film, that even if you know what's going to happen, you still enjoy it, it's still good. As I said, I would have loved to have erased this from my memory so I could watch it for the first time again, but that's not possible. Performances are all amazing by everybody. Anthony Perkins obviously is the sort of star. He steals the show with his acting, but everybody's fantastic. Directed so well, it looks amazing, the sound's amazing, it's so creepy, it's so ominous, it sticks with you as well. I watched it last night and I was just thinking about it the rest of the night. Yeah, for me it's the perfect way to start the Halloween season if we're going to be doing these podcasts. It's a heavy hitter, man. It's one of the all-time greats. And yeah, 5 coconuts, man. Easy.
Amazing. Psycho 1960. Psycho is still shocking. It's still scary. I think it's amazing. Technically, thematically, dramatically, it's a marvel and it's earned its status. My favourite in the franchise is part 2, but I also think part 4 is really strong. Perkins is consistent throughout. This is a devastating and brutal film. I remember watching it repeatedly when I first got it on tape. I honestly must have rewound and replayed that thing 12 times, looking for Marion's return every time. Shocked that they got away with that twice in the film. It's chilling, it's totally dreadful, it's amazing, it's 4.5 out of 5 coconuts. This is an incredible film.
Yep, absolutely.
It deserves every bit of its stats, and we're in the best season ever. It's Halloween. Rido, what's next? What you got for us?
I'm not going to spoil it, so let's just play that trailer.
I've had this dream. I'm in a thunderstorm, and it's raining really hard. It sounds like pebbles when it hits the ground. I try to block out the sound with my hands, only it doesn't work. It just keeps getting louder and louder. And the rain turns to blood.
It's just a dream.
Are you crazy?
We ain't gonna stand for no weirdness out here.
Hello?
Help me!
Did you know that a young boy drowned here?
Help me!
His name was Jason, and today is his birthday.
Help me!
This place is cursed. You're doomed if you stay here.